everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this video I thought it would be fun to explore doodling with colored pencils. So that's what we're going to do, and I will list all the supplies in the description below as usual. I found this piece of plexiglass in my stash. I think it was meant to be a stamping block, which I'd never used, so now it's used for my smaller pieces. This piece measures about 4.5 by 6 if I'm not mistaken, and I'm taping it down to the board. Not because I'm going to be using a lot of water on it, but I do want that nice border because I'll be doing some leaves at the bottom, and I wanted to have somewhere to stop without making it awkward, so it's just easy for me to tape the board. If you noticed, I have a little stain on the paper which was made by watercolor, so I'll figure that out later on. I have a way to remove that. The colors are going to be used in different values, and the first one I'll be using is blue apatite genuine, which is this beautiful denim blue, I want to say, and that is the main flower. So the steps I'm going to take are as follows. I will establish the main flower. I'll be making 3. So the main flower is this big giant circle, and then we'll have 2 other ones. But before I do the other flowers, I need to add some leaves in the foreground. So my next step was to just add 2 little leaves underneath the flower. It kind of looks like a mustache. So just 2 dabs on both sides right underneath the flower. And then I will be doing my leaves, which you just drag the brush. You just put some more pressure in the middle and then just release as you move outwards. If this is difficult for you to do, if you're a beginner, you can just do it in a 2-step motion. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm using blue apatite genuine and also sepia, which is a brown, for the leaves. And the only thing I needed to be mindful of in this painting, which is rather simple, is to keep the leaves as distinct as possible. I didn't want the brown and the blue to run into each other, because otherwise I would have ended up just having one solid color, and it would have been a mix of those two. So I wanted the browns to remain browns and the blues remain blue. So in that sense, I had to think about how to add the leaves, and I ended up waiting for the paint to dry and added more leaves on top of that. Once everything is dry, then it's less of a problem, obviously. So once I had this first set of leaves, I was able to paint the other 2 circles for the other flowers. And by the way, my circles are not perfect at all, so don't stress too much about the circles either. The only thing that I ended up doing, though, to make my life easier is to switch my brush, because I was using a very soft brush, and it's easier if you want clean edges to have a brush that has less of a more of a spring back, I should say. So these are both Princeton, but this one here is from their Elite collection, which has stiffer bristles. So I ended up having to heat set just to I'm very impatient, so I heat set the painting, and then I was able to paint the other leaves. And this time around I went with darker colors because it would give me the impression that these are closer to us. All right, so now it's time for the exciting part. Not that painting is not exciting, but I couldn't wait to show you the doodling part. I made sure that my pencils were well sharpened. I showed you the sharpener that I'm using. I also have an electric sharpener, but the leads keep breaking in it, and then you have to do open heart surgery to get those leads out. So I got tired of that, and this sharpener works pretty well for me. So my doodling is not exact. You can see that I'm going out of the leaf shape, but I don't mind. I think it just adds character and that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But basically what I wanted to do is to vary the doodling style in each of those leaves. I mean, I have repeated some, but it was really fun to experiment with having larger spaces in between the veins, more veins, all that sort of thing. And what I did was I tried to match the colored pencils with the colors that I had chosen, with the colors of the paint. And some of them will be light, and some of them will have just one line going through it, them. And I just absolutely love the look. I think it's so soft. I love doodling, of course. That's no secret. And I still love doodling with black markers, but I don't know, I just started experimenting with the colored pencils. I think it was last week, and I fell in love with it. Not to say that I'm always going to do that, but I thought it'd be fun to show you because most of us have colored pencils, probably from our childhood, or if you have children around that are of school age, or well, regardless of their age, I think colored pencils is almost like a staple in every household. So, and they're fairly inexpensive. So yeah, it basically you can do whatever doodling that you would do with a marker, you can do with a pencil. However, having said that, I had to resort to a white gel pen for the darker leaves because none of the white pencils that I had were giving me the opacity that I was looking for. So I cheated. It's called mixed media. Anything goes. I kept the most fun piece for last. I couldn't wait to do that big flower, which I have experimented quite a bit this week. I tried with different color combinations, but I really wanted to add that kind of like orangey red. I think this one's called Poppy Red. It's a Prismacolor pencil, but I wanted red over blue. And I don't know, I just fell in love with that combination. I think it's just awesome. But because my flower is not a perfect circle, I had to add a row that doesn't go all the way around. And I think it just adds to the quirkiness of the flower. It just works. And I don't know, I like these small imperfections that give the piece character. In the not so middle, it's not in the middle at all, I added this center, and I'm just doing a gradient of 3 different colors. So I have the poppy red, then I have kind of like a wine red. I can't remember the name of the color, but it will be listed below. And I also added, I think it's cool gray or warm gray for the outer edge. I just basically proceed very slowly, giving it kind of like a faded look towards the middle to make it look as if it's browned. So just leaving that little spot there untouched or barely touched. I like doing that stuff. I used to do it a lot when I was a stamper. I would stamp an image and then shade accordingly. And of course, back then I was working on smooth paper, which is very different than watercolor. But I also do love the look of seeing the crayon marks. And I know that I could use Gamsol over this to smooth out the color, but I don't want to do that. I really like the look, honestly. To remove that unwanted dot, I used a Q-tip. I just wet the tip of it and dabbed at the color. I didn't want to overwork it though, because I was afraid to damage the paper. So once I got it to almost gone, I let it go, and then debating how I should fix it even more. And the gold won. But I used it very sparingly because this piece is so soft. I didn't want to take away that softness, and I know that gold has a tendency to attract a lot of attention, so I use the dots very sparingly. I like this piece. I think it turned out cute. I like it quite a lot, actually. And I think this technique is worth experimenting some more. I want to experiment with darker colors or more vivid colors. And on that note, I'm very interested to find out what your thoughts are on that. Did you like it, or do you prefer the doodling with the black markers, or do you like both? What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. Very curious about that. So I hope that you'll experiment as well, and let me know how it turns out for you. If you share on your social media, make sure that you tag me so that I can see what you've done. I want to say a huge thank you to my awesome patrons for supporting my art over at Patreon. You guys are awesome, and I've also noticed that you started interacting with each other in the comments, and that pleases me. So thank you for that, my awesome patrons. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Stay creative, keep safe and healthy, of course, and I will see you soon.